Levels of thought. Well, I am this person with my own subset of information and knowledge that's gonna carry me through any topics that are discussed in this video. B, well, point A kind of cancels point B, which is that sans a perfect capability to explain every detail of something, what other people take from this is not going to be exactly what I experience, what I take from it. But there could be a commonality, a fundamental constant that is achievable by witnessing the information in this video. So those are my caveats. And also, I've been alive for 32 years, so that kind of shapes the whole point of this video. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, well, there are 2 other videos like this where I vlog and talk about this concept known as the levels of thought. In one video I referenced something called psychedelic spray paint. In the other video I mention hallucinogenic. There are basically 2 talking points, one in each video, that are only going to make sense if you have background information, which is that people have the ability to hallucinate, which is perceiving something that isn't really there in the outside world, as far as psychology is generally concerned. What matters in life? Answer honestly. I'm not going to tell you what should or shouldn't matter to you. Things of significance. Let me phrase this question this way. If the universe was about to end and aliens came here and they had the power to save it, what would you show them that would give them reason to even push the button? To me, things that let me just acknowledge the background noise. I'm choosing to have a conversation with somebody open, and I'm outside on the back deck smoking, so you might hear some coughing and some dings from a certain app that will remain nameless. So, black holes are pretty much the most entertaining thing in the universe to me. when something that exists, I use that term loosely, when something as insignificant as a table or a pool ball becomes so dense and crushed that it basically collapses under its own gravity. Somehow the force of gravity becomes stronger than the ability to keep this molecular structure together. You know what I'm saying? And then it just collects anything that comes near it. Now I have a theory, and I can't disprove Stephen Hawking or Isaac Newton or anything like that. But what if black holes don't exist? It's just an illusion. There is no event horizon. Space never becomes time. Singularities don't exist. Because, I mean, come on, that doesn't really make sense in physics. Maybe in theoretical physics, but the problem is not even light travels at the speed of light because there's too many background particles in the way. It wants so hard to be this perfect thing, but nothing in life ever is. Even the most beautiful circuitry is just the nervous system of whatever robot it's powering, you know? A black hole is like Gabriel's cake, which is going to steer us towards the point of this video, which is level 3 thoughts, which are things that are based on the fundamental principle, they are things that can be based on the fundamental principle of action, which leads to causality, which leads to moving parts and reason behind the way it's functioning how it is, you know, this thought. Imagine a clock that's set to time at 1 minute. Alright, so you have the parameter of time. You have a light that is connected to the clock. And you have the second parameter of this equation. After X amount of time, the switch goes off. After X divided by 2 amount of time, the switch goes on. And thus continues for 15 seconds, 7.5 seconds, and 3.85 seconds, whatever, you know what I mean. What happens after a minute goes by? Well, I'll tell you my theory, and this is the same as Gabriel's cake. A minute doesn't go by, because given that this is a system, just like what I said with the most beautiful circuitry, imagine witnessing this happen. As time increases, it becomes so rapid that the system becomes overloaded with energy and distorts time infinitely. A minute never concludes, and this flashing continues throughout the entirety of absolution. Gabriel's cake is a philosophical question that says, if I cut a cake in half and then put that half on top of the other half, well, what happens if I cut the top half in half and repeat those steps? In theory, you would have a set of cakes that has infinite surface area and a finite mass. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. It would have a finite surface area like cakes do, But it would have infinite mass because you just keep cutting it in half and you never reach zero. So, dividing infinitely, what I think you really get is you end up with a straight line that has no mass. Something like gravity. Level 3 thoughts are thoughts that you witness as you would witness gravity becoming so intense that time literally stops and all that exists is a flashing light and a line of cake that goes on into infinity.